Here we go. Cheers. True. Come on. The mug game.
This
Dude.
is fantastic coffee.
Okay. Well, okay.
It really is.
Not knocking the quality of the coffee, but the mug game is not strong for Drew today. That's all right. Your shirt game is strong though. The corgis.
Yes.
Gotta love the corgis.
And you know what? Thankfully, summer is dying out, so I don't have as much time to wear Hawaiian print.
It is. I'm wearing long sleeves today, Drew.
I'm
and regretting
so
it.
looking forward to, digging the grave of this summer and walking away without it unmarked.
It's harsh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
No one's going to be able to visit it and respect it in any
Drew wears
way.
pants year round. He owns one pair of shorts and never wears them.
From 1997.
There you go.
They're a little tighter than they used to be.
That is the truth. I think we could all say that about our 1997 shorts, Drew.
Yay! 35.
Speaking of shorts, we want to hit this video quickly. So in Q&A, I talked about, this was the last Q&A that I shot, talked about the new Omniflex nib.
Yes.
So wanted to expand on that a little bit, bring Drew's opinion into it because he has been on the front lines customer service-wise.
Not as much as my team, but closer to the front lines.
Closer than I have. And we played with a couple of pens, and we want to talk about the old versus new, and I use new in quotations because if you saw that Q&A, it's not actually a new nib per se. It's been an iterative change that they've been making to the nib, tweaks and improvements over time. There's been some buzz in the air, Penboy Roy, and others that kind of have noticed some of the iterative changes.
Which is great.
Yes,
Because a positive change has been made, and so much change that it's prompting, hey, this is better, this is improved, this is new.
It's better, they must have redesigned the nib, and it's the Conklin 2.0, and how do we get the Conklin 2.0? And the truth is, there is no Conklin 2.0. It's been a rolling change.
Yeah, it's kind of, there was a 1.1, a 1.2, a 1.3, a 1.4, and now we're maybe like 1.8.
We're like 1.8, yeah, exactly. So the challenging thing for us is we can't pull one off the shelf and say, oh, okay, this one was manufactured in April, and it will perform this way, and this one is manufactured in September. September hasn't happened yet. I'm getting ahead of myself, but either way, we can't say, okay, I know exactly which version we're gonna get. We can advertise it and we can predict. It's not quite that way. So partly this is to say, yes, we recognize that they have gotten better and we'll show you that. But also to say, we can't guarantee that you're going to get a better one. You just have an increased likelihood of getting a better one should you be buying one now as opposed to maybe a year ago.
Yeah, if you bought one 2 months ago, it's probably gonna be the same. If you bought one a year ago, it's probably gonna be better.
Yeah.
So great. They Yafa, who distributes Conklin, got some constructive criticism around the launch of the first Duraflex pen, rightfully so, and took it to heart and immediately started working on ways to improve it. And they've been doing it ever since. They made some minor adjustments here and there, but all those have kind of come together to make some noticeable improvements.
Yeah, I mean, they came out about a year and a half ago now at this point.
Oh, wow, really?
They really started to make the biggest leap in improvements when the Sunstone came out back in April of this year, about a year after the originals came out. They've been making iterative improvements since then, from what I understand. The challenging thing is, they're making improvements on the nibs, but they may have some old stock that takes a while to work through, and then retailers may have some old stock on various pen models. So it's a rolling change like that, so it takes a long time for everything to be over to the new version. But I have one that I know for sure is an older version.
Right.
We still have this pen that we restocked since they've made some of the rolling changes. So if you buy this one now, it will be a little bit better. But this turquoise one, which is an exclusive to us, this
this one was
from the original batch, and this is the old nib. So we inked it up with DC Super Show Teal, a new Monteverde color.
So this one, we've noticed, definitely performs better at a higher angle.
It does. And I will say, I inked this one up, and it was gushing when I first inked it last night as I was playing with it. Now it's all worked through the feed, so it's drawing from the converter, and you're seeing.
But it's definitely not working at my angle, which is probably a 50-degree writing. But then you bring it up, you get it started again, and then, hold on, no. It is just.
So it's being a little finicky here. Which I think this is, I picked this one because I think it's representative maybe. And this ink too, I think is a little drier than some that I've used.
What ink is this?
This is DC Super Show Teal.
Wow,
So
there we go.
This one isn't as flowing in a flex as some of the other inks I've used. So that's going to be a huge factor as well, the ink choice. All right, so this is a good representation of what I think.
It started off just fine.
Not everybody has experienced this, but this is
a severe one.
This is a severe, and this is what we chose this so that we could get one that shows an example of what frustrates you all who've received one like this in the past. And the cure to this basically is you take the converter and you flood the feed, and it's going to write a lot better.
Yeah, sometimes heat setting works, but heat setting with a plastic feed is not nearly as easy or as uncomplicated as heat setting an ebonite feed. So
yeah. So now you
so
got.
Here's
so this is the Freedom, which all of the Duraflex Freedoms have the, I guess, newer version of the nib, because the pen only came out, a month and a half ago or so. And this one also flexed it quite a bit, and so it's not the initial fill that you're writing with here. This is also drawing straight from the converter. So how's that feeling to you?
Feels fantastic. It skipped a little bit there on the down, but
yeah,
comparatively,
you're still going to get a little bit.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in note is like the feed has not changed.
Right.
It is still the same exact feed.
From what I understand, they're doing something differently with the way that they adjust the nib to allow it to flow more consistently. I think that's the biggest adjustment. Even still, you're going to get the best performance with these heavy flexes if you flood the feed, because it just needs a good supply of ink. So I think if you're using it as an everyday pen with just a little bit of line variation, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to really flex this thing out and really flex the muscles of the nib, you're going to be happiest if you flood the feed. And it takes some practice. It takes some adjustment. You got to write slower.
And just more intentionally. If you have a pen that's just not doing what you want it to do, move your arms around, your hands around a little bit, and try to be where the pen wants you to be. Yeah. And if you're already having trouble with your existing Duraflex pen, we have noticed on our team that if you thread in the converter, you could inadvertently unthread the housing unit for the nib, which could cause some issues. So just make sure that everything is nice and tight where it belongs, and that could solve some problems.
There you go. So there you go. That's the whole truth of our experience here. We have noticed some improvement. It's still not a perfect flex pen, but there is no perfect flex pen that I've ever used.
Not anymore.
So I really think that having realistic expectations about it, but understanding that you're going to have a greater likelihood of being satisfied buying something now. But
so if you heard some negative things about it a year ago and would like to give it another shot, now's probably a good time to do it.
And not to say this just because we sell the product and all that, but the genuine truth of it is, we heard all the same complaints about Noodler's pens when they first came out. Basically, every version of a flex pen that is ever released, we have the same issues that happen. And some of it is expectation. Some of it is there are improvements that are made when a company first comes out with a nib that's new like this. There are some improvements to be made. So I don't want to knock Conklin for coming out with this in the old version.
They should be commended because they acted on all of this feedback.
They're treading new territory.
Yeah.
So props to all of you who are supporting Conklin in this venture with this nib, and I think it's only going to get better. They have seen improvements, and they're devoted to making this pen
That's the
better.
Important part. It's cool to have companies like that are actually taking the steps to make it right for everyone.
There you go. So you can check out more information on gouletpens.com. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We're very curious. Thanks so much for watching, and right on.